Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. Basically, in America, the UK, and Israel, they insult God more than any place on the planet. And the main reason has to do with white, Jewish, and LGBT supremacy. They're shameless. They even persecute me. And so, as I explain things, I'm not going to kind of be careful not to insult them because they're insulting God and I all the time. And a lot of it has to do with their religion and how they practice it. So in Deuteronomy chapter 16, the most important section is the end, where they're told to appoint judges to bring justice, not like the people on duty who are interfering with this video, completely unworthy to do God's work, completely unworthy. But they're to appoint judges that were actually worthy. So before that, it talks about the Passover, right? God passes over the homes and spares the firstborn of the Jews, the Israelites, and punishes the firstborn of the Egyptians. It has to do with, the Exodus from Egypt. The next is the Festival of Weeks, okay, where it's a festival designed to celebrate God giving the Torah to Moses. And the last is, the Festival of Tabernacles, and the tabernacles where they kept the ark. Okay, now keep in mind all these things are superimposed on something else. Do you think God Almighty would choose people who aren't very serious, who are ripping everyone else off as a group, mind you? Not every Jew is scrambling to rip you off, but when you look at it as a group, they're ripping you off. Like not every German in Nazi Germany was scrambling to put Jews in camps, but as a group they were, right? As a group, the German people were, and so it is with the Jews. And the German people who weren't doing that, they weren't that impressive. Just like with the Jews, you have people who are scrambling to oppress you just as much as the worst oppressors out there, if not more. And you have people who aren't that impressive. Therefore, they're not chosen because you know them by their fruit. The chosen people of God are in martial art order. The Lord is a warrior. The Lord is his name. Judges 3. He teaches them warfare, what have you. So the black Hebrew Israelites aren't chosen. The Ethiopians aren't chosen. White Jews, Ashkenazi, Sephardim, okay, the Lemba, what have you. The chosen of God is the Royal African Falcon martial art order, not black, white, Indian, or any other so-called Jews, but the people who do the work of God. We see it in the New Testament where it says the kingdom of heaven will be taken away from you. It was tens of thousands of years ago, really. And it will be given to a people who will produce its fruit. What I mean by that is everyone has common ancestors, and as the family split up, okay, the Royal African Falcon martial art order was forged from this black African line so long ago. The kingdom was taken from them, but they try to confuse it, right? Bible, Bel is a deity of confusion. Torah ha-rat, they're laughing at you as your soul rots, as you refuse to come into the divine order. Okay, for example, if they put in a book in a way that's confusing, that you should drink water, but everyone interprets it as they should drink dirt, and they're dying and they're laughing at you. Ha, 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 ha. That's like what's going on here, except for it's the living water of God that you're missing out on. They're like, duh. It's a Royal African Falcon martial art order, and Chukwuemeka is the king of kings. They're like, what is there not to get? Would you follow Adam Sandler instead of Martin Luther King? Because Adam Sandler's a Jew. What is there not to get? So they're laughing at you. They are laughing at you. Pretty straightforward. So during these festivals, they did things like, eat unleavened bread, right? Okay. And on the seventh day, they would gather, and so on and so forth. So when you look at the church, you look at the Jewish community, you look at privileged oppressors who sabotage these people, including people in the Jewish community and people in the churches, right? It's like a circus, and then there's privileged oppressors, then there's the Royal African Falcon martial art order. I'm the only one in the divine order. This is the end of the Bible. And the contrast is clear. I'm persecuted for righteousness' sake. They're going along with this, some circus punk or some privileged worm who's from the most oppressive governing class lines, what have you. There's nothing that they can say. They're mere privileged people, mere clowns. I'm a sabotage hero. Any questions? Really quickly, the 7 is the number for purity. And so they're superimposing their kind of cult activities on the idea of the Royal African Falcon martial art order being brought out of Egypt and purifying themselves in a martial art process. So they have a clown process for clowns that's superimposed on a serious masculine martial art process in the Royal African Falcon heterosexual black African martial art order. Black African patriarchal line, I'm mixed, what have you.